Alright guys, so here we have a BMW X5. I'm not exactly sure what the year is, but you can see it's pretty bad. We got some pretty bad oxidation over here. I don't see any micro cracks or anything, which is good. You can actually see some stuff on the inside right here. These tiny little dots on the inside. That we won't be able to address, but we'll be able to get all these scratches and everything out. So this one I'll probably end up starting. I'll probably just do a 400, 600 on this one because it's not really bad. That clear cut's probably pretty soft, so should get a really good result out of this one. These are nice because they're pretty easy to tape off as well. Hello. Alright, so the clear cut's being a little bit stubborn, so I'm actually going to drop down to a 320 so I can break through the clear coat, and then we'll bring right back up to a 400. You can see over here where it was deteriorated. Very easy, came off very simple. But you can see right here, this clear coat right here is kind of intact, so it's going to be a little bit more stubborn. So I'll just use the 320 for a little bit to kind of break through. I'm not going to push too hard on it. I don't want to make more work for myself, so. looking good. Alright, all the clear coat's gone, so
Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate the call.
Well, we appreciate you coming out.
Alright guys, the customer actually came out and talked to me, so they are headed out for the day. This is actually maybe the third car I've done for these customers, so they trust me. Not that they shouldn't anyway, but so you can see I just finished up with the 600. You can see the water starting to repel. This is a very good indicator to that you're good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up, get all the water out of everywhere, all these little crevices and all that, and then I will dry it, clean it, make sure it's free of any oils, and then we'll apply the clear coat, and then we'll move on to that side. Yesterday we had a completely full schedule. Yesterday was actually Saturday, and we had 8 on the schedule for yesterday, and it started raining all day, so unfortunately we had to do a lot of rescheduling, which I am not a fan of, because it's everybody's typically pretty free on the weekends. I don't usually work Saturdays, but because we had so many for the week, I had to fill up Saturday as well. So I usually take the weekends off, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. If you were in the business, you need to get one of these. I absolutely love these things. They soak up the water so well. So I don't have the blower. In the last video I said that I need to fix it and just order a new one. So I want to be very diligent when it comes to removing the water in any of these crevices, because if I apply the clear coat, the can is going to blast any water out of any little hidden areas, and it's going to fall right onto the lens, and that's the last thing I want. So yeah, we started with 400. It removed some of the basic oxidation, but some of the clear coat wasn't completely deteriorated. It was still a little bit stubborn, so I dropped to a 320 to get rid of some of the stubborn clear coat. And that saved some time. You can pick these up at Lowe's. They're actually a little bit expensive. I think they were running about 60 bucks, 60 or 65. But if it was $100, I would still buy it. If it was $200, I would still buy it. This thing saves so much time and headache when it comes to masking off. and it comes with just the dispenser. You have to buy the tape and the paper, which is not too expensive. The tape can be a little pricey. Tape is always expensive. The masking paper itself is about $6. It's not too bad. I said it in the last video about conserving, trying to do one headlight at a time to try to save. Again, if you're super busy, then it can add up fairly quickly. It's always the little charges that start to add up, you know. It's the little charges that get you. What's that term? Even the smallest leak will eventually sink a boat. Pretty good terminology to live by when it comes to finances. So I've done a Cadillac for this customer. I think they had a Mazda that we did, and we also did a Ford Expedition for them, and then this vehicle. Put one right here just to keep it, just in case if the wind starts to act up on me. Alright, so we are good to go. So you can see it's nice and milky. It's exactly where we want to be. Just set it to a 600. Then we're going to be applying the clear coat. Get my mask. I got to get a new mask. This one's starting to fall apart on me. Alright, so for this, I'm just going to do some even strokes across the lens. I'm not spurting or anything like that, just thick, even coats. The clear coat has UV properties and filling properties in it. So I just send to a 600, and the clear coat embeds itself in the lens, and it gives a really thick layer of protection between the headlight and the outside. So. Alright, now you can see actually where I sprayed, you can see the flash off starting to evaporate, and it'll just glass over. Like this little spot right here, you can see it's, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can see it's starting to evaporate, starting to glass over. So this side's good. We're going to let that sit. And for the cans, if you are reusing these, because you can usually get about maybe between two to three vehicles, you actually spray the nozzle and keep it dry, because if you are using this the next day or something, the clear coat will harden on the nozzle and it'll spit whenever you're spraying. So based on what I had to do for the last one, I'm going to start with a 320 on the passenger side. And as a little bonus, we're going to do these little side markers for the customer too. So you can see that flash off is pretty much gone. It's good to go. And again, this is a great example for me to show you guys the process of oxidation. So because the sun's hitting up here the most, this is going to take the worst of it. It's going to start right here, and it's just going to go down and down, all the way down until it's completely oxidized. It's starting right here a little bit, you can see, but this area right here, this has a very thin layer of oxidation. This right here is old clear coat. So this is very, very easy. If it was like this during the over the whole entire lens, I could just do a 600. This is very, very easy to remove, very thin layer. But this, you have the clear coat and you have oxidation on layers. So what I'm going to do is basically use a 320 on this. I'm going to try to avoid using 320 up here because that's the raw headlight. I don't want to penetrate too deep on that. So 320 is mainly used to remove the stubborn clear coat. And there's a lot of little scratches. I mean, it's a 2006, so this is actually not bad for a 2006 if you want me to be honest with you, because any other vehicle of this year would be pretty beat up. Alright, we're good. Sometimes you got to be kind of conscious about that. As you're spraying over here, if this is still wet over here, you can get some water on it. So, which I have done before. I have done that in the past. Not paying attention. Alright, so here's a perfect example as to why I spray. You can see the I'm down to the raw headlight right here. Down to the raw headlight right here, but I can still see intact clear coat right here. So as I'm sanding, see, you can't really see it now. I'll spray and it reveals itself on where I need to sand more. This way I'm not sanding super aggressive on the spots that are already good to go. So I'm not making more work for myself. So again, I really hope you can see it from this camera angle, but right here's raw headlight, right here's old clear coat. And it's gone. So that's why I spray, so I can see my results in real time. I'm not guessing how many layers I've taken off or how much more needs to go. I can physically see it. So right here, headlight, raw headlight right here, old clear coat. Just like that. So save myself time. So I'm not guesstimating on how much more I have to remove. I can physically see it and I can know how much I have to remove. So you can see this little spot right here. So let's say I were to, you know, finish it and not get that spot. If I apply the clear coat, it's going to look like there's a bunch of scratches right here because the clear coat is going on top of that old clear coat. It's not embedding itself in the raw headlight. So it's going to be very visible. These people are always coming at me, why you wet sanding, or why you spraying it so much? There's a reason. So I can see, it saves me time. Otherwise I'll just be guessing and have no idea where I'm at, how much more I have to go. It really comes down to just inspecting your work. Even if you're not doing this method, just inspect it. You have to inspect it because situations like that I was just explaining, if you don't remove it, it's going to be very visible during your restoration process. Right now we're on step 1, removing all the imperfections. And if it's not removed, it's going to be very visible when it comes time to restore it. Meaning when it comes time to apply your your Cerakote or your Meguiar's or My Clear Coat, whatever it is. Alright, so we are good to go. This side's glossed up nice. There's still a little bit of haze on the inside, which I'll show you here in a moment. Or at least I hope that you can see it on the camera. So I'm going to the 400 now. This is going to remove the scratches caused by the 320. So if you're restoring lights and you're getting a lot of scratches at the end, you may want to consider adding one more step in between. You can see as I'm standing right here, it's coming off white because that's the raw headlight. But if I stand up here, there's still a little bit of oxidation. That's the part that I didn't get with the 320. So it might be a little bit colored. See, just a little tint of yellow. Alright, we're looking good. Alright, you can see the water starting to repel, so now we're going to move on over to the 6. I'm trying to beat the rain because it's looking pretty cloudy. It's Florida weather for you. Like sometimes it'll rain for like maybe 10 minutes and after that it looks like the Keys, like just nice and sunny and perfect. Alright, so we are good to go with the 6. Now we're going to remove the tape. Very easy to remove if you soak it in water. People will comment, "Oh man, you used the wrong tape." It's like if you are dry sanding, yeah, you can use that tape. Use automotive tape. But in my method, if I'm wet sanding, it softens the tape. Because I'm wet sanding, I don't really have to worry about going off of the headlight, sanding the bumper or anything. If you're new to the game, take all the precautions that you can. Mask the whole entire thing up. But when you get a lot of experience under your belt, you've made mistakes, learn from them. Because remember, you're working on somebody's vehicles, so no matter what you're doing, you always want to try to be kind of safe, Like you'll never see me going like this really, really fast. I mean, you're just begging for issues at that point. Got to be diligent, guys. Can't be reckless. If you're diligent, life's going to be a lot easier for you. because I have seen cases where some YouTube videos, things like that. Obviously, being in the industry, I get a lot of headlight restoration themed recommendations on my channel, and I see a lot of people who are using power tools, using, you know, hand sanding, doing all sorts of different things. And I think it was one video where a guy was saying how one of the tools he was using catched, and it just like went down the bumper. At that point, you're pretty much screwed. I mean, you got to call somebody to come out and fix it, which ain't fun. So for me, I'm just going to completely rule that out. I'm just going to hand sand. Now granted, I've said it in the past, for those of you who follow me, there are headlights that I would prefer to use tools on. It gets like that, you know, not every headlight's the same, so you have to decide what you're going to do. But again, I am picture proof that you can restore headlights by hand. It doesn't take me an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours to do a headlight. Because when you are taping, some people will tape like all the way over here, all the way down here, all the way over here. If you're doing this as a side hustle or something like that, like, that's fine. But if you're running a legit business and you're doing a lot in one day, that extra 15 minutes per side that you're using all that tape on, it adds up. And not just that, tape is expensive. Doesn't matter if you buy it in bulk or not. So if you're in the business, it's, you know, you want to try to maximize, you know, as much as you can profit without jeopardizing, you know, the quality of the restoration. People just have been using power tools on headlights for as long as I've seen, like. And then when I started hand sanding, I realized that the oxidation, scratches, things like that, it's very, very thin. It's on the surface. So it's like you don't need to really remove layers upon layers upon layers of the headlight to get down to the raw headlight. Because remember, you have the headlight itself, and then at the factory they apply the clear coat. So you think the layer that they apply at the factory is not a super thick layer. So you have the raw headlight, then they apply the clear coat over the headlight. How did I do that? Am I missing something here? So you think how much do you really have to remove? Why do I have to remove layers upon layers to get to the raw headlight? Because again, a headlight restoration is 2 steps. The prep, removing everything, removing all the imperfections, and the second step is restoring. Whether it be applying a clear coat, polishing it out, using a wipe. Restoration, headlight restoration is not hard, guys. It's really, really not. And it really ultimately comes down to education. It comes down to taking a look at a headlight and knowing exactly what grit you have to start with, or customer telling you, oh, I got a 2012 F-150 and knowing exactly how much time it's going to take. I mean, that's more the experience side, but the unfortunate part when it comes to starting a headlight restoration business is the education. There's no guide or book or anything like that when it comes to teaching somebody how to do headlights, because every single headlight is different, and the kits that you buy at AutoZone or O'Reilly's, those kits are for the absolute best case scenario, that very thin layer of oxidation. Like Honda Civics are typically very, very easy. Those are the kits that you could use on those kinds of cars, because they're the absolute best case scenario. Now, if you have headlights like these, I know that there's a headlight restoration kit out there that you actually get a wet wipe and you run it over the headlight and it removes the oxidation. A kit like that will not do anything for this kind of headlight, for this kind of restoration. Chemical like that is not going to remove scratches. It's not going to remove severe oxidation. It's not going to remove any pitting or imperfections from road debris. There is no restoration on this planet that is going to get you better results than sanding. You have to sand. You're taking off a layer of all the imperfections, and then you're starting fresh. You have to do that. So I don't care if you're getting Crest 3D or if you're getting Colgate. Again, guys, I get this all the time between the comments. We run a lot of Facebook ads, so I get a lot of people who will comment on there, just ignorant stuff. Just use WD-40, replace them instead. I don't know why people have such a hatred for headlight restoration service. I really don't. I think it might come down to, like, people just assume they know better. And like I said about maybe 5 minutes ago, the people who are in the business, who are doing this every day on countless different makes and models, those are the people who understand that not every headlight's the same. It's all about the process. Am I taping it off correctly? Am I down to the raw headlight? Did I remove this? Did I remove that? Alright, so we're just tack free. It's just a little sticky, so we'll just go over it a little bit more. And that's one purpose of this channel. Whenever I started the restoration business, and that's why I upload as much as I can different makes and models, because again, only somebody who is doing this business is going to be able to guide you and tell you what you're going to be dealing with. Because companies out there who are selling the kits, they're not out here restoring the lights. They don't see the case-by-case basis, the different issues that you run into. You know, they go to a chalkboard and say, okay, this is the chemical process, this is what's going on when it comes to, you know, oxidized headlights, and this is the chemical equation or what we need to do to restore them. It doesn't factor in road debris, scratches, other imperfections, stubborn clear coat. So a quality restoration or a quality headlight restoration kit isn't so much as the kit itself, it's the education behind it. It's like, does this, you know, does this manufacturer or brand give me information that I wouldn't be able to gain if I wasn't out here doing all these different restorations? So that's one reason why I wanted to start doing this, and I wanted to start my own brand, is because I'm a headlight restoration business first. So I'm out here in the field still doing this, and I have the option to not, but I personally love it. I really, really love doing the process. I really love seeing the transformations. I love recording videos and showing you guys what's going on in the day-to-day, and just showing you guys that anybody can do this. You can make this into a six-figure income. It's just, you got to treat it like a business. So a lot of people don't take it seriously. They treat it like just a side hustle, and if you're not commercializing, if you're not thinking of commercializing this business, that's all it's ever going to be, is just a little side hustle. Like, oh, I can make you know, an extra $200 this weekend, or so on and so forth. People aren't treating it like a legit business. You know, get some uniforms. You know, clean yourself up. Don't look like a bum going to a customer's house with a raggedy shirt on or wearing flip-flops. If you went to a mechanic shop or your doctor's or something and they, you know, walked up wearing flip-flops, you'd be like, yo, what are you doing? So again, commercialize your business, guys. Try to take that aspect of the commercial side of a business and the local family-owned side of the business and merge them. All right, guys, and here's the finished product. You can see we got a little bit of imperfections over here on the inside. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about that. This side, same thing. We got a little bit of imperfection right here and some on the very bottom. But other than that, they came out great. So, customer will be super happy about it. But thanks for watching.